Another part of physical security, of course, is securing work areas such as server rooms, development areas. You want to prevent unauthorized access. You don't, if we have people working, for example, on a new product, whether or not it's an application, they're testing some customer data, you don't want just anyone to have access to maybe some of that data could be sensitive. You don't want someone to have physical access to some of our equipment because with physical access, they can do almost anything. We want to make sure our cabling is protected. Maybe we put it in conduit. We have it going through risers and so on that are protected so it's not easily going to be then damaged by somebody rolling a chair over it or maybe rodents chewing on it and so on as well. So the idea of a conduit, and the conduit may be plastic or in some cases steel or aluminum. The idea is that it protects the cabling that's inside that piping. The wiring closets should be locked. We have on every floor a point where all the wiring and the cabling comes in and then get distributed out to the various workstations on the floor. And those wiring closets, if a person can get access to them, well, they can tap into and monitor communication that's going to every single desk. And so this, of course, a wiring closet should also be locked. Now, I've seen cases where this has been a problem because in the wiring closet they have switches and other devices that are generating heat. And a lot of the wiring closets aren't big enough that you're getting proper ventilation and some of your equipment can overheat. So what do they end up doing? They end up then leaving the door open. Well, obviously we have to find a better solution than that. We provide for physical access protection through, having identifiers. ID badges so we can see if this person's a legitimate employee. Are they in a part of the building they're allowed to go into? We segment off so not everybody can walk through the HR area, or there's locked doors in places where we're doing research and these sorts of things. We could use, as a type of physical access control, little palm scan readers, fingerprint readers, biometrics to make sure that whether or not a person should be allowed into that room or that area. If we have people coming in, such as contractors and even vendors that are doing some work for us, make sure they've got an escort. So they're only going where they're supposed to. They're only working on the equipment they're supposed to work on. And quite simply to ensure that we don't have people wandering around the building in certainly places where they shouldn't be. One of the best physical access tools we have is undoubtedly closed-circuit TV. And closed-circuit TV is excellent, we can say here, for monitoring very large areas. One person can monitor an awful lot of area using closed-circuit TV. And the idea, of course, with this is that closed-circuit TV serves in part as a deterrent. If a person sees a TV there, they say, I better not do anything wrong because it'll be seen. But also, an advantage of closed-circuit TV is it allows us to record things. We can go back later and see, what happened? And so there's some very good advantages to putting in an extensive CCTV network. Even if we can't be monitoring every camera all the time, at least that information is available if we need to go back and look at it later. It's good to have security guards. Let's say, for example, a company has some turnstiles. So when you're coming in the front door, you have to put your badge down on this reader, and then the turnstile will allow you, doors will open, you can walk in. But most of those turnstiles are only 3-4 feet high. Anyone with a little bit of athletic prowess could easily just vault over it. And so that's where it's often good that we also have a security guard. So you can say, wait a second, you can't do that. You don't have the right card, you don't get in. We also put in security guards in any cases where we need discriminating judgment. We might have an alarm that comes in. The security guard then has to take a look at this and examine, is this really a problem or is this just a false positive? And so the security guard is providing that discrimination between what is a real event and what is just, shall we say, a distraction or noise. We'll often put in door open alarms, infrared motion detectors, other types of intrusion alarms that will indicate whether or not we possibly have somebody getting into the building that shouldn't be. It's good to lock down our equipment, whether or not we put a cable lock on laptops, and make sure all of our equipment is properly identified and locked, just to prevent someone from easily being able to steal it.